Last season in the IORA Cup Series, this may have been the most exciting venue of the entire season, and this time around, it comes back for 200 miles of racing. Welcome back to the championship chase in Season 5. You're watching the IORA Cup Series exclusively on FTN, and tonight, it's the B-Man Design 200 at the Talladega SuperSpeedway. Welcome back to the biggest oval circuit on the schedule, and we've seen this year after year return as a premier event for the IORA Cup Series, and of course exciting races every time around. We've seen new race winners, veterans rising to the top, and our defending winner Jacob Wilkerson is with us in this event alongside over 20 other drivers set to take to the field for tonight's racing. Qualifying on the way, and it is traditional single car qualifying for individual drivers. They will not have to wait, everyone getting their own time on their own track, and times are being set as we speak. I'll be your host for all of tonight's racing, David Kreutz, commentating and producing, and we hope you stick around. We're just getting started here in Alabama. Devins Baker among many others who have taken laps, and right now looking to see who gets the fastest time on the board. And we're keeping our eyes on just about everyone here. As you see there, Nathan Palawada going to be making his way down to the start-finish line. He's got a ways to go until he gets there, and we'll see what it takes for Palawada, among others. Gavin Austin, your Season 2 winner at this track, has returned, winning in the early 2022 portion of the IORA Cup Series history. And he has returned tonight. Gavin making it a turn 4 this time by, and it looks like Daniel Mosteller with the provisional pole at the end of his first lap, and he's going to look to maybe best it in his second. Working down the straightaway, you see Mosteller right there in the 87 machine. He's in a dead heat right now with River Page for the pole. The gap is less than 1,000th of a second. And Page is going to drop down and in immediately thereafter. Demos going to be coming through. Turns 3 and 4 this time by. Tyler Tinsley moves up in a 4th, and Braxton Whitaker rounds out the top 5 at his namesake race. We'll see he stays there for the time being here, as Demos is still going to be coming across the line this time through. Mosteller up the track, going to take it way high to arc it down at the stripe. Mosteller going to have a 54.293, no improvement that time by. And for Demos, he's going to go up the track, and he's going to find himself destroyed. Still in the pole position. Brandon Dugan's going to park it. Then from there, Austin Barnett going to be on pit road. And right now, Frank DeAngelis jumps up to 7th. DeAngelis is going to be inside the top 10 in qualifying with Jim Thurston then in 9th. A minute and 20 seconds remaining, and the IORA Cup Series is seeing its finest get prepared for tonight's action. Jacques Carter going to be in the 023 in 22nd. Michael Deitch returning to racing, and you can see he's coming across the line here, and he's trying to get a little bit higher than 23rd. For Deitch, it's going to be a move up to 11th with that lap. Good run for Michael Deitch. He's 58 thousandths off of the pole position with 52 seconds to go this time by. Here's a ride on board with Jim Thurston, and you'll see exactly what it's like for Thurston as he ends his qualifying run. Thurston going to jump up in a 10th, 45 thousandths of a second off of the pole, and he finds himself there now, the final driver in the top 10. He's going to be locked into that spot, and it looks like he's behind Michael Deitcher. Now one spot above, Frank DeAngelis is right there with him as well. Thurston destroyed as he comes across the back straightaway, still carrying that L.W. Wright throwback scheme. And, of course, a tribute to L.W. Wright, who raced at this venue once in 1981 and hasn't been located ever since until just about 2 years ago. And the legend comes from Alabama International Motor Speedway, as it was known then, and still exists to this day. Now, drivers have set their time, so it's time to show you the entire starting grid from the top to the bottom. It's going to be Daniel Mosteller in the number 87 at the front of the field. And your two-time champ, he knows what it's like to get it done here at Talladega, one of the super speedway aces. He's going to be at the front of the field for tonight's race. Daniel Mosteller up there with the pole position, and the two-time champ looking to keep his championship hopes strong is going to kick this one off with a 54.021 and less than a thousandth of a second behind. River Page, dead even according to iRacing timing, is second in the qualifying session. Very good run for the both of them, and Jacob Wilkerson then going to be third. Wilkerson, 9/1000ths of a second behind. Your top two is going to be the first driver inside of that second row. And then right beside Jacob Wilkerson, you are going to find your fourth place driver. That is Aiden Walker, 1,000th behind Wilkerson. Overall, your top four drivers separated by 100th of a second. Then you're going to have Aaron Schugel. Schugel tonight barely making it to the racing circuit with a little bit of help from Thomas Coonan. Coonan not running tonight. Aaron Schugel taking over his ride, and he's going to be fifth tonight in that number 91 with Josh Kenyon right beside him. And Kenyon going to be position number 6. We haven't seen him in quite a while in the IORA Cup Series, so getting his return race in here at Talladega, where he knows everyone has an opportunity to win. 7th place is going to be Vincent Guecci with the number 88 team, and then going to be Nathan Palawada in 8th. Right now, the iRacing official pace car is going to lead the majority of the field. 9th place, then and there, going to be Frank DeAngelis in his first race of the season, and Jim Thurston is going to round out the top 10 in the number 96. Then from there, immediately following Thurston is going to be your 11th place driver, Michael Deitch. It looks like now Josh Kenyon jumping to the inside to take an end-of-line penalty. Tyler Tinsley going to be 12th in the number 75. Then from there, 13th place is going to be Devin Baker in the number 14. 15th is going to be right behind Bryce Kohler. Kohler in the number 98 gets 14th place on. Then from there, you see Corey Lyles in 15th. Zach Trevino is going to be 16th, and 17th place, that's the driver, the number 63, Henry Caloff. He's right beside Brandon Dugan. Dugan going to find himself as one of the final drivers inside of the top 20. 19th is Austin Barnett. Braxton Whitaker is 20th. He's going to be the final driver inside of row number 10. Row 11 is going to have Xander McKinney in 21st, and 22nd is going to be given to Jason Chilton in his second race of the season. We saw him debut alongside Ashton Crowder. Then you have 23rd. That spot's going to be occupied by Jacques Carter and Gavin Austin, who won at Talladega in Season 2 in a field of over 40 drivers. Well, he's here tonight in 25th. 26th place going to be Alexander Balderas, and Carlos Truther is 27th. To round out the field for tonight's event, Will Shack, the 28th and last on the board. He's going to be there inside of row number 14. Last driver in your starting grid in the B-Man Design 200. Just about time to get things rolling here. Daniel Mosteller, River Page. That's going to be your 1-2 combo up at the front. Mosteller, Page alike, championship contenders who look to be the favorites for the title going through the later portion of the season, and it's of course fitting to have them both up here front row, toe-to-toe, to get things going at the ever-exciting Talladega Superspeedway. 2.66 miles every lap. Hard-charging action. 60 laps on the schedule tonight. It looks like a little bit shorter than anticipated. Stay tuned. We are in for a trip down south. Green flag's gonna fly for Daniel Mosteller, and we are underway in the B-Man Design 200. Daniel Mosteller going to lead lap 1, finding himself on the inside line, and overall going to be a calm entry into this race. 60 laps are on the schedule here. You're looking up in front. There's Jacob Wilkerson, the driver who won last season, and he already finds himself at the top of the board. Demos deciding to drop out. He does not like what he's seeing, and I think for good reason here. Going to be cautious as they're 3 wide already, and up to the front of the field goes River Page, using the high side, as already getting middle 3 there for Aiden Walker in the number 93. Drivers now going to be going at each other 3 wide, 3 rows deep for a brief moment, and it looks like they're going to once again stack up across the stripe. Xander McKinney all the while keeps himself right there in number 40. Nathan Palawada up top, and it is a hornet's nest due to come across the line. Page is going to be the leader that time by, and barely, unbelievably close for these 2 drivers who are heading the field. Wilkerson and Page with the big advantage, and everyone else mired back. There's Vincent Guecci in the number 88, and Vinny still in his throwback paint scheme. He's there in the nationwide number 88 and running good so far. This could be a huge race for his championship chances, of course, to make sure he does not miss the cutoff line for the next round. That next round, speaking of course, something that we got to keep our eyes peeled upon. Point standings have only gotten tighter. Right now, Brandon Dugan finds himself on the cut in at 9th, and it's going to be Will Shack, Alexander Balderas, Chase Schaefer, all further back out. Right now, Guecci is the first driver in, and he'd love to keep on extending that to get with the likes of Henry Kaloff, Corey Lyles, Thurston, Page, and Mosteller. So if Vinny has a good run tonight and he stays in front of guys like Dugan, Shack, and Balderas, he's going to be in a real good place. I don't think he's going to have to worry all too much. As it stands, Nathan Palawada, the number 91, going to be working down to the inside. He's got Corey Lyles right there with him. Go, driving through. Page has the lead, and the C behind him keep on fighting. 4 laps in, it's going to be now Vincent Guecci up to the high side. The 88 machine driving it high. He's got Palawada there with him, and you see Jim Thurston now getting forced up even higher than he'd like to be. I don't know if Tyler Tinsley's going to like that, but it looks like he's now coming through as well, and here comes Tinsley, 12th place as we speak, and he's looking to make it a few spots higher. At the stripe again, 3 wide for a few drivers has simmered down. It's once again largely double file for the pack that is comprised of 24 drivers, going back to Austin Barnett and Daniel Mosteller. Tentatively speaking, Mosteller going to find himself 3rd to last after, of course, starting this race on the pole. So Mosteller has decided to lay back big time here. A good opportunity, of course, for him to stay safe in this race, knowing how tricky Talladega is. But gotta wonder about the point scenario here. What if it does end up being a long race in terms of strategy? You don't want to end up far back in terms of pit strategy, because track position impacts pit strategy immensely at a track like Talladega. You want to find your in-group, the drivers you can work with, the drivers you're comfortable with. And right now, I think a few drivers have found their home. Jacob Wilkerson, he likes to lead quite a lot. Vincent Guecci, he's right there with the JFR guys of Corey Lyles, Aaron Schugel, Nathan Palawada. He has a little bit of help tonight. River Page right there with them. Aiden Walker's worked with Vincent Guecci a few times previously, so there's no real strangers in terms of the field here in the IORA Cup Series. A lot of these drivers have raced each other for years on the platform, but for the newcomers to the league, it becomes a little bit trickier to assimilate and find the best drivers to work with. Josh Kenyon, Frank DeAngelis, Carlos Truther, drivers who, of course, this entire field are familiar with, haven't gotten a lot of seat time in this series. Xander McKinney coming over from the SRL campaign on FTN's Sunday night itinerary. Well, he's here too, at 15th right now with the JFR guys usually. Right now, at number 40, running in 16th, so maybe not where he would like to be, but as long as you're in the draft, you're really not in a bad position. Aiden Walker going to be up top, looking to get that race lead. And just like that, Jacob Wilkerson going to pull him through on the bottom side. Multi-group blocking. That's the name of the game for your leaders, as looks like now dropping down and in low side. We got another driver choosing to drop. That's Jacques Carter, the number 23. Aiden Walker down low leading the way. Vincent Guesci right beside him. Jacob Wilkerson now going to find himself on the pushing end. And if you take a look on board, you can see exactly what Wilkerson's doing here, making sure he pushes square in the straightaways and hopefully does not push into the corners. That could be disaster waiting to happen. And D here getting right up to the back bumper of Walker. That's his job. And now Vincent Guesci getting a little help to go side by side with your leader. Now Wilkerson going to go to the middle groove. Here comes Jacob running down the back straightaway. 8 laps out of 60. And now Wilkerson decided to get up there. Brandon Dugan going to fade back. Aiden Walker is leading. And now as Corey Lyles helped, the JFR guy is going to be on the inside. And now Wilkerson has been cast away to work with 88 of Guesci. 8 laps out of 60 here, double file once again. Leaders are now going to be comprised of the JFR guys in the top 4. Corey Lyles now has control up top, and Corey Lyles has absolutely waiting for a moment like this. He last won in Season 3 at the Daytona International Speedway. It has been north of 2 seasons since we've seen Lyles really come back into his own. And now looking for a chance to do so once again. Neck and neck here, still going to be up in front. So we'll take a look further on back. River Page has decided to drop back a little bit more. He follows the lead of guys like Nathan Palawada, and it's ironic to say following the lead because he's decided to drop down with them. Now it's going to be Page running in 14th. Brendan Dugan in a very similar paint scheme to that of Page is going to be right now just beside him in 14th. Come across this time by to make it the double digits. You see one driver being put one down. That is Jason Chilton, the number 80, and Michael Deitch would be next up. Deitch right now on his own in his first race back. Looks like he lost the draft early and has not been able to recover. Doesn't look like any major damage, just did not make the start. And as such, Deitch going to find himself way back relative to his competition. Aiden Walker still going to be there on the inside of Corey Lyles. Here comes Jacob Wilkerson with Tyler Tinsley. Tinsley right now keeping himself steady, knowing that any driver around him could make a move and decide to slot to the outside. There goes your leader. Aiden Walker's going to be in the wall, and he is going to get blocked on the way in. Caution's going to fly, and drivers will scramble. Tyler Tinsley alongside Aiden Walker are going to end up in a smoke show. Caution's out. Here is a quick look back as the yellow flag is going to fly for the first time today. Tinsley Walker, the causes of the yellow from up front. Now we mentioned any move could be made at any time. Now, it's a bit of a hyperbole, but when you look at how it's happened, Corey Lyles, contact from Wilkerson, then Tinsley gets shot down by Kaloff, and you see first off, Walker makes contact, and Tinsley might have actually saved it. And it looks like maybe no contact for Tyler Tinsley after what happened with Jacob Wilkerson. Save for the back end, of course, getting beat up quite a bit. Should be minor damage for both drivers, and as such, we've gotten through, once again, 11 laps out of 60, and the drivers have gotten back out of their way. Looks like, as it stands, Tinsley, Walker will get together with the field again. 11 laps into the 60 here, and trouble will brew at Talladega. We find ourselves caution bound for the first time tonight. Yellow flag is flying for Jacob Wilkerson and company up at the front of the field. Wilkerson going to be dropping in this time by, so let's get back at it here as the 43 machine decides to come right through, and it stands pit road going to get busy here. 11 laps in. Take a sneak peek. Well, he's got his company right there with him. Majority of the field is going to come in at this time, and as everyone's going to come through together, you see them all making it in. There's River Page. Here comes Braxton Whitaker. Everyone coming in together goes to show. Just about time to get through for pit exits. Leaders coming out. Looks like Daniel Mosteller once again going to have that lead in his possession. And just like that, 12 laps out of 60. We're going to get back at it momentarily. But before we do, we'll bring you a brief iRacing promotional break brought to you exclusively on FTN.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Daniel Mosteller going to be coming down to pit road. Jacob Wilkerson is your overall race leader, and we're getting back at it again. The caution, it is flying here in Talladega, 13 laps in, out of 60. And of course, a long ways to go from here as drivers are just getting settled in, and hopefully, of course, Wilkerson, among others, not going to have a tough time in regards to adapting and succeeding in this race. We've gotten down to the early point, of course, where drivers are just getting themselves settled in. Now, as we get to what could be the second half and beyond, exciting racing is still due to follow. Now, we're following along with a little bit of some issues regarding getting the picture out to you guys, and it looks like YouTube giving us a little bit of trouble. We're fully connected to iRacing here, so we'll keep working things out, and eventually we should be on the right frequency to get the broadcast pumped out to you once again. Apologies for some brief delays in getting the picture out. It looks like everything's been fixed. We should be good to go. And we're figuring it out as we speak. Still some ups and downs inside the FTN studio right now. We should be otherwise set to keep going at it as, yep, we should be ready to get it back out. Now, with that being said, it's time to go at it one more time with Jacob Wilkerson at the front of the field. He's got River Page right there with. Now as the drivers here, Page and Wilkerson are set to get us locked in again. Let's do it. 13 laps in, out of 60. There's a ways to go from here, and it's time to get out for our first restart. The flag is going to fly, and it's going to get very exciting from this point onward. Let's get right back at it. Wilkerson down low, River Page right up top, and the green flag is due this time by. iRacing official pace car is going to drop right down and in, and it's going to be time to get things going here in Alabama. Page and Wilkerson going to be first and second here, and it's time to move once again. Coming across the start-finish line, Page going to be up top, Demo's going to be right down low, and we are good to get going once more. Mosteller at the back of the field now with Jacob Wilkerson in control. Green flags out, and Wilkerson leads us right in it. Leader's going to fly by with River Page now in control at the head of the field, and it looks like as it stands, driver's still going to keep things going, and there you have it, River Page at the head of the field. Looks like a little bit of communication trouble still happening here. We're going to work through it as Page is coming across the stripe. Jim Thurston is going to be second, and third spot is going to be then and there Jacob Wilkerson. 1, 2, 3, working across again. Here comes Wilkerson up top. River Page remains right down low, and down to the underside, Jim Thurston, maybe with a chance. You see, he's got a few scrapes, but otherwise he's been able to hold things up just fine. And even with that little damage, Wilkerson is still right there with Thurston, and they're all going to be coming fighting across the back straightaway one more time here. 15 laps in out of 60, coming across the quarter-way marker. And even though we still have more than half the race remaining, this first portion has gone quite quick. First quarter down and out, and the rest of the field, of course, considering what is next. Nathan Palawada with Vincent Guecci. Now that's going to be another battle to keep your eyes peeled on board this time by with Palawada. Exactly what it's like inside the cockpit. Palawada here going to be forced to slide it down to the inside line. It looks like right now not doing a bad job at just that, and keeping himself on task, of course, going to be the biggest thing. Don't want to distract yourself amid the hard-charging racing. Up top, there goes Mosteller, and we mentioned he started on the bottom, and he is here now. That's for 13th, looking to make a few spots up. Demos in the number 87 is making passes. He's making them quick here, understanding how much time he's got left. Not all too much in the grand scheme of things, and if we have one more pit stop, it would be under green. The cycle would be at its final stages. Demos, time to rev things up here as he's side-by-side with Michael Deitch. Deitch getting up to the 3x3 mix, and you see there Braxton Whitaker, among others. And we'd like to thank in particular Braxton Whitaker for his support of the IORA Cup Series since day one. He's the sponsor for tonight's event, and the B-Man Designs 200 is named after his design crew at B-Man Design. They painted some of the wonderful cars you see on the track today, and Braxton Whitaker, of course, always available for extra paint scheme information and assistance. So, with that being said, check out B-Man Design on Twitter, Instagram, and if you join the IORA Cup Series Discord, you can learn a bit more from Braxton Whitaker himself. We'd love to have you join the fun of the IORA community. Braxton, who's been here since the beginning, a key supporter to everything we've done with this league, and we wouldn't be here without him. That is for certain. Braxton Whitaker right now running pretty good, and maybe a chance for him to break through for what would be his first ever win. That's, of course, if he came through all the way from start to finish, and it's not out of the question that he does that here with so much time remaining. Maybe tonight is Braxton's night. Right now, going to be side-by-side with Michael Deitch. It's the fight to get inside the top 10. Overall, Jim Thurston leads 18 laps in out of 60. Additionally, we'd like to give our thanks to our partner here on FTN at Tango Paints for their continued support on the channel. And we're going to be right back after a Tango Paints promotional break. Check out Tango Paints on Twitter for high-quality iRacing paint schemes, and they're top-notch for a reason. Working with some of the esports organizations and road to pros such as Ancient World Gaming, Tango Paints provides a service worth the price, and it's a pretty affordable price at that for the best quality liveries in the entire sim racing market, starting at $50 a scheme. Check out Tango Paints, and we'll return after a brief message from our friends at Tango Paints. Jim Thurston side-by-side right now with Nathan Palawada, and it's going to be 2x2 up at the front of the field. Number 96 is going to be on the bottom, and then, of course, Nathan Palawada up top. The Pepsi number 78 doing a pretty good job of holding its own so far. Palawada maybe on track for what could be his best ever race of his career, and there's always opportunities for career best in the IORA Cup Series at tracks like Daytona and Talladega in particular, tracks where a driver can break out and keep the momentum for the majority of the event without having to worry all too much about getting caught up in a mess, as long as they are very careful, of course. Our first caution of the day happened at the front of the field with our racing leaders, so caution, trouble could be anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're at the front or at the back. You just have to find a way out of it, and hopefully, of course, for these drivers, wreck avoidance is a skill they possess for the rest of the day. Mosteller is still trying 3 wide, and you see him there all the way at the high side with Jack Carter. Jacob Wilkerson is going to be inside of the race lead once again to the point for the 43. And here comes Corey Lyles, Jim Thurston, and Nathan Palawada right there with them. And where that leader goes, a few drivers always follow. And right there, going under, there's Wilkerson. The SDP oil treatment machine looking for what could be its second consecutive win at this circuit. Now, Jim Thurston had quite the eventful event at Talladega, shall we say, last season. There's really no other way to put it. For him, he was a leading contender for the majority of the day, and with about 25 laps to go, he ended up getting destroyed, flipped up and over multiple times, and ended up being the reason for our most exciting caution of the race, as he ended up somersaulting over Jacob Wilkerson. Wilkerson went under him. Perfect timing, mind you, because Thurston was on the track when he was flipping and ended up winning that race as he held on from that point onward to collect the checkered flag for the first time in his IORA Cup Series career. Since then, Wilkerson has been able to flourish, and as a driver competing for the championship, I think maybe we're going to see a lot more from Wilkerson from this point onward. He is the first driver up on Guecci, 7th place in the standings overall, so not necessarily in a comfortable position to say the least, but maybe Jacob Wilkerson can give us a little bit more as the season progresses, as he finds himself right now side by side with Nathan Palawada again. Palawada up top and Wilkerson right down low. There goes Nathan once again, dropping down under as Corey Lyles is now in third. More than a third of the way through this race, and right now we're getting really developed in regards to how these drivers approach each other on the racing circuit. Front of the field, of course, being a little bit dicey early on, but after that first caution, things look to be tame, at least in part. It's good to see drivers getting themselves in the rhythm, understanding that we do definitely have time. Don't stress it too much right now if you're at the front. Maybe if you're further on back, you're going to have to. Gavin Austin is a driver who we have to keep our eyes on because of his experience at this circuit. Austin in Season 2 of the IORA Cup Series won at Talladega in the biggest field this league has ever seen of over 40 drivers registered, and now Austin got it in a photo finish. It came down to just a few hundredths of a second. He knows what it takes, and he also knows what it takes to save the car. He almost spun it out right there, but luckily, all is well, and Gavin Austin will keep on going as a result. He's in a good position, Gavin Austin is, of course, to just progress through this race naturally. We saw him at Daytona, but the success was not necessarily there for him in that event, as he's going to get, once again, dropped down and under. Gavin Austin having some troubles here at Talladega. And a track he's won at previously in this league is not going to be treating him all too well. River Page gets right by him, and Michael Deitch might be up next, and they're serving him up all throughout the track. Meanwhile, Jim Thurston gets a push to get back inside the race lead. Thurston, the 96 up top, and Corey Lyles right there with, going to be the leaders in the middle groove. Vincent Guecci going to be high side dreaming with Brandon Dugan and additionally Josh Kenyon. And it looks like right now that high side coming into its own once again, and Vincent Guecci is one hell of a determined driver tonight. And I think when you're in Guecci's position, you have to be. There's no reason to give in and back down unless you get spinned. Guecci's going to be turned. It's the big one at Talladega. In addition, Corey Lyles, Jim Thurston, and your leaders get destroyed. Caution is out. Guecci, among others, catch a huge piece. My oh my for Vincent Guecci. He's going to end up destroyed here with Brandon Dugan maybe kicking it off, and you can see Dugan contact once, contact twice, and then right under. That's going to send Guecci into Thurston, into Palawada, then Jacob Wilkerson, and in addition Carlos Truther. And in addition, indeed, you see there the number 79 getting involved. Bryce Kohler barely gets by. Looks like Austin Barnett going to get a piece himself. Zach Trevino is going to fade back big into pit road. And it is a multi-car incident, the biggest of the night so far. And 25 laps in, we are pacing again. Caution's out. Vincent Guecci is destroyed amid his hard charge to the race lead. Bad news all around for the field. And unfortunately, it comes in the form of a caution flag. Brandon Dugan is scored as the leader here, and we will see whether or not he is penalized for his involvement in that incident. I don't have a feeling he will be the leader come the end of this cycle, as of course Dugan initiating that contact with Jacob Wilkerson, and then of course getting involved with Vincent Guecci. 55 is currently your leader. Josh Kenyon going to be second, and Braxton Whitaker third. That's the top three after the big one tonight in Talladega, our first major incident. Caution flies 26 laps in. So we're going to see, as pit road opens, who and how many decide to go down. An opportunity, of course, to top off on fuel. I think that's what most drivers are going to opt for. Maybe a few others going to go down for tire, but I feel like that's going to be the less favorable position of all your race leaders. The most important thing is, of course, going to be coming down and in and getting topped off on that fuel. You can, of course, worry about the tires a bit later, but right now, fuel is the be-all, end-all, and everyone is going to come down to pit road, and we are going to watch it here and now. Pit lane is going to get active. Field is flying through, and it's your come by. The pace car is the only driver that decides to stay up on the circuit, and Talladega's pit road is packed. See there, Daniel Mosteller coming in. There's Jacob Wilkerson right alongside him. Caution gonna fly indeed. River Page right there, and Xander McKinney coming out. McKinney looks to be on his way to get tagged. Xander McKinney is gonna get an incident on pit road, and he's gonna end up shuffled right out. Mosteller, the first man out of pit road. Then there's gonna be Braxton Whitaker. Then, indeed, Xander McKinney. Nathan Palawada gonna be fourth, and Brandon Dugan in fifth, with Josh Kenyon sixth. Michael Deitch is going to be then in seventh, Tyler Tinsley eighth, and Will Shack then ninth. To round out the top 10, it's Devin Baker, and Jason Chilton is in 11th. Bryce Kohler going to be 12th, and River Page, as you see there, passing by your screen, well, he is going to find himself in 13th. And just like that, we have got ourselves pacing again. Daniel Mosteller, he is your overall race leader. Braxton Whitaker second, and Xander McKinney then in third. That's the 1-2-3 combo. Right now, they're once again getting settled in down the Alabama gang super stretch. We are a lap and a half away from racing here, and Mosteller finds himself up at the top of the board with Whitaker second and Xander McKinney in third. Looking further back, an additional few drivers are still going to be on pit road. Aiden Walker, Aaron Schugel, Henry Kaloff getting some additional damage repair, and right now Kaloff getting back on the way, but a few other drivers not going to be as fortunate. So, see there, Henry Kaloff making his way through. Carlos Truther also going to be right there in the mix. And 7 laps in out of 60, Daniel Mosteller is the overall race leader once again. He's been quiet for the first half. Was your pole sitter, but he's decided to lie back a little bit more and decide instead to let everything come to him as the race has progressed, which I think is perhaps the best thing to do in this situation. You really don't want to end up mixing yourself up with some trouble and then losing what you have. So here's the Demos. He's got the chance to now take the lead to the halfway point as he comes across the stripe. Mosteller goes high and only drops down low at the very last moment. Demos to the bottom, and Braxton Whitaker right up top. So the 51 machine decides to go high side, and it's going to be Daniel Mosteller right down low. Less than a lap to go this time by, and we return green at lap number 29. Going to be your second restart of the day in 28 laps. Overall, been a largely calm race at Talladega, for about as calm as it can be at this circuit. 60 laps are on the table for these drivers, so it's a short sprint in all honesty. We've gotten past the first half, and now the second. That's going to be, of course, the most determining factor in who wins this one. And as it stands, drivers still coming off a pit road to get themselves warmed up. Aaron Schugel, he finds himself a little bit further back than previous, and as it stands, Braxton Whitaker going to be in second place, third, Xander McKinney. Gavin Austin ends up retiring, and he mentions in the chat room here an additional incident after the first wreck. Wasn't able to make it out of that one, and that is going to be one of our 3 retirees so far. Frank DeAngelis made it to the start, and it looks like he ended the night early. Gavin Austin is going to be leading the retirees right now, and Zach Trevino also out following that contact. Now, 28 laps in, we're going to get on the move once more. Here comes Demos. He's got Braxton Whitaker up top. It's going to be your second restart of the day with Xander McKinney third and Josh Kenyon fourth. Rounding out the top 5, Nathan Palawada, and the green flag will get things going once again as the pace car is going to go dropping down and in. Here comes the Ford Mustang to pit road, and Daniel Mosteller, Chevrolet Camaro, will right back. Out of the tri-oval for Daniel Mosteller, second restart of the day, and for the first time since lap 1, the 87 is your leader again. Here's to the 87 trying to get things going for the second half. Green flags out, Mosteller leads us, and we're back on the move in Alabama. Josh Kenyon with a nice push to support Daniel Mosteller coming out of turn 2. That's going to boost Demos, and he's going to send himself up to the race lead as a result. And you can see how far back Braxton Whitaker is going to fall as a result of this predicament. He's going to end up dropping back to 8th and maybe even to 9th or 10th and beyond, as he's now caught up on the high side, everyone going down below him as if it's a train of drivers, and they're all coming together. Whitaker, with no support, is going to have to lie back for now, and you can see the new inside line and the new outside line beginning to form. Nathan Palawada has decided to go down to the outside and make himself known. He's got now Daniel Mosteller right next to him. It's the number 78 up top, and Demos right down low, 30 laps in out of 60. This will be for the halfway lead. Nathan Palawada up top with Tyler Tinsley. Tinsley going to be working down the back straight with a little bit more momentum. And all of a sudden, Nathan Palawada has an opportunity at 193 miles an hour to clear Demos and take that lead for good. He decides to stay up top for only a little while, and he's going to bring Tyler Tinsley there with them. Top 2 have gotten themselves together. They're hooked up, and Demos is the man at a severe loss. He's going to have to keep on following here. Nathan Palawada coming across the line, and that number 78 come through the start-finish line one more time. At the line, Tyler Tinsley, race leader with 30 laps remaining. We've gotten by the first half, and up next, the remainder of this race, of course, as drivers have moved on to the second stint. Now time to see who's got what it takes to keep on fighting from this point onward to the checkered flag. Here's a ride on board right now with River Page, and you'll see exactly what the number 24 is doing. He's up in the middle groove. Right now, nobody going to be using that high side groove for a third lane, so River Page is about as high as they come right now in that number 24. Working through middle side of the circuit for Page. He's going to be right behind the JFR number 56. Doing a pretty good job right now, Corey Lyles is, but doesn't have his teammates right around him. Just does not help. Right now, Page going to be looking up to the high side once again. Can't quite get a run, really nothing else to find, and he's going to stay where he's at. Looks like content to be here for now, but looking to go to the high side. He'll bring Vincent Guecci, and maybe Guecci still more aggressive than most, despite getting involved big time in that previous incident. Tyler Tinsley, down and under. That is your new race leader. The number 75 moves up to the front of the field, and he's looking good right now at that. Now it's going to be Tinsley with Daniel Mosteller right behind him. How about the number 55 of Brandon Dugan? And you can see there's Jacob Wilkerson. Wilkerson up to the top side, and the number 43 machine moving up all the way at the line. Wilkerson's going to be the driver to the point, and he comes to lap number 33 with the purpose. Wilkerson looking to defend his race win at Talladega. Nearly He defends River Page to the point of a wreck. 3 wide again. This time it's going to be Wilkerson dropping back, and Tyler Tinsley ends up taking the race lead once again. Tyler Tinsley down and under, River Page right there with, and Daniel Mosteller now finds himself underneath the 75. Right now it's going to be a game of support. Single file for the, of course, one and only race leader. He's the only driver with a little bit of a buffer. Everyone else, and not quite. And you can see him there coming through 3 wide at the tail end. There is going to be Will Shack alongside the 63 of Henry Kaloff. Shack now down to the inside of the 63, and you can see him moving through. Shack is now with Austin Barnett, and Barnett's been a rookie today that we haven't spoken all too much of. His first ever attempt here in the IORA Cup Series, and as it stands, the Red Dead Redemption 02 doing a pretty solid job. Hasn't really done all too much of anything so far. Long as you're in the pack, there's really not too much trouble to worry about. Daniel Mosteller and River Page are now going to be side by side briefly, only for a bit of a jump there from River. That gets him back right beside Tyler Tinsley, and the leader of the outside group fluctuating a little bit. You can see how well stacked up that inside line is, and usually this is the trend at Talladega. If you have it stacked down to the bottom side, you almost never see it in league racing anyway, stacked down above. And right now that's exactly what we're seeing. The middle and the high side exist, but they are nowhere nearly as densely populated. Tyler Tinsley working down and under. He's got it there. Mosteller in the middle. Mosteller turns up to the high side. No other driver involved save for Guecci. Vinny's night is over. Demos might be as well, and the caution is going to fly. The 87 of Daniel Mosteller destroyed with 35 laps in the books. Caution's out again. Here's a look back as Mosteller ends up getting turned to the wall, getting loose, and that's all she wrote for the 87. Yep, Page ends up turning him, gets Vincent Guecci, gets Devins Baker, and nearly ends up getting your rookie in Barnett. But overall, the 88 might have gotten the worst of it all because he's used its fast repair already. We saw him do so. Now, Vincent Guecci out of luck, out of second chances. And that number 88 is going to have to recover on his own if there's even a possibility. There's Daniel Mosteller on pit road as well. And as the leaders have gotten by this time through, a few drivers are specifically absent from that pack. Tyler Tinsley now the chance to hold his own as the race leader. Not a great position right there for Mosteller or Vincent Guecci, 2 championship contenders who desperately need points. That's sometimes how the cookie crumbles at Talladega, and as you saw there, fate dealing a bad hand as River Page right up in the mix there with Mosteller, getting a little bit touchier as they came through the corners, and that's such a risk for these drivers. Can't really afford to do that, and we just saw it there. Tyler Tinsley finding himself now as the overall race leader from Nathan Palawada, River Page, and Josh Kenyon. I think the big surprise right now in the top 10 might just be Kenyon. He's there in the 027 running in 4th and has done a good job of that so far. Coming down pit road, any takers? A few. River Page is going to be one of them. He decides to go down and in. He will top himself off, but overall, the majority of the field decides not this time around. It looks like the majority of these drivers are confident in what they have, potentially going to the end. River's going to drop down and in. He's going to bring with them Vincent Guecci. And of course, Guecci's going to need to get that damage repair. And Devins Baker with Aaron Schugel. Caution flag flying, and 37 laps in. We're going to take a brief break here, courtesy of iRacing Motorsport Simulations, and we'll be right back just to make sure things are all said and done here in Talladega just right. We'd like to thank iRacing Motorsport Simulations for their continued partnership with the motorsport community, NASCAR, IMSA, among other sanctioning bodies. And tonight, as we get things going once again, iRacing, the place to be. Check out iRacing.com for discounts of over 40% on all memberships, and we will return after a brief promotional break from iRacing.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We'll be coming back green with 22 laps to go. Live on FTN, Tyler Tinsley is your race leader here at the Talladega SuperSpeedway. Welcome back to coverage here of the IORA Cup Series live on FTN. The title battle, of course, going to be shifted by Demos and, of course, in addition, Vincent Guecci, all fight with one another. As it stands, it's number 75, working down and in. He's a driver who's not battling for the championship, but instead has an opportunity to win for himself. Tinsley came very, very close in Season 3 at Talladega, and maybe redemption could be his tonight. He fought against the likes of Cooper Glick that night, and it was one of those races where the underdogs definitely came out on top. Tinsley, though, able the chance to do it at this time in his favor. We'll see as we come through this time by. Less than a lap to go. One more time around. It's going to be Tinsley on the bottom and Nathan Palawada up top. Golden Corral's Josh Kenyon inside the top 5 alongside Brandon Dugan. And it looks like further on back, Jacob Wilkerson and Xander McKinney. Notably, coming down a pit road this time by, there's Devins Baker and Will Shack going to be in 20th. 21st going to be Jim Thurston. And it looks like from there, Vincent Guecci still on pit road and Daniel Mosteller just get back on the way. However, he is 2 laps down and his points buffer is going to help him out big time tonight. Really not the best of races for this 87 crew. So hopefully they have a chance of turning it around, but they're going to need a caution or two for that to come into play. As it stands, Mosteller coming down the straight one more time. And he'll be with the pack as we set to go at it yet again. For those of you, of course, who know how it goes on FTN with 22 laps to go, we are going to crank it up courtesy of our friends at TrackCams22.com. For the highest quality broadcasters, the best cameras and iRacing are the only way to go. TrackCams22 always have you covered. Over 100 car and track camera options to choose from their subscription services, which provide oval, road course, and additional content all throughout the iRacing calendar. Check out TrackCams22.com or Facebook.com/TrackCams, because we are about to crank it up with 22 laps to go. Tyler Tinsley, the man in control, and we're going to get things going once again at lap 39. 16 laps remaining. Jacob Wilkerson going toe-to-toe with Aiden Walker, and it's been that way for the final 5 laps of this stint. Now we're going to find out which of them are going to make it to the very end, if either, because it's time to get through for crunch time at Talladega. Right now, going to be 2x2 for the majority of the field, and of course, Walker going to be included in that bracket. As it stands, Jacob Wilkerson going to be keeping him honest, and now Walker decides to go right under. That's going to be a block on the number 43, and a good block at that. Walker ends up cutting through and puts the PBR 43 back down in the second. The JFK crew going to have an opportunity here to maybe make a pass. Corey Lyles coming up top with River Page. See here as Page is going to come across the stripe. 24, Corey Lyles there with them. 15 laps to go this time through. Second pack is beginning to form further on back beyond Michael Deitch and company. He's Jim Thurston alongside Will Shack, Henry Kaloff, and Austin Barnett alongside Bryce Colder, all the same. And right now those drivers have decided to lie back a little bit further, and you can see here Aiden Walker toe-to-toe with Jacob Wilkerson. Wilkerson up top and Walker down to the bottom side, 2x2 with 15 laps to go. Leaders are once again side by side, but not taking it any further. It looks like going to extremes. Well, that's exactly what we're seeing right now. These drivers choosing to stray away from that. We've previously seen, of course, the disastrous consequences of drivers making far too risky maneuvers and dangerous mistakes being put into play. That's caused the only cautions we've had so far tonight, and even though those yellow flags have occurred, overall the field has kept it clean for the majority of this event. 3 cautions today, 5 caution laps overall, and 25 lead changes. Quite the high amount for these drivers as they come across the stripe yet again. 25 lead changes in 46 laps. Not a bad average, almost one every half, or every other lap, shall we say, with 14 laps to go. So these drivers are in a really good situation in regards to continuously improving here and making up laps, doing a good job of keeping it clean. And I think if we're going to see one more caution, it would come within the next 5 or 6 laps here. It's unlikely we do go to overtime. However, it is still possible. Weather conditions are unlikely to influence that as well. Looking at 72 degrees Fahrenheit with minimal humidity, and winds are northbound at about 3 miles an hour. Going to be eastbound now and looks to be fluctuating just a bit. But overall, temperature is quite tame. It's a mostly cloudy sky as well. The drivers do not have to worry. In the situation they're in right now, it should be no problem but to keep on progressing as the field comes across the stripe. Yet again, for the Baker's dozen lap, 13 to go, it's going to be Wilkerson and Corey Lyles, the drivers up in front, and they're still there. Aiden Walker, River Page, Nathan Palawada, and of course Carlos Truther now. Truther comes up in it, maybe another opportunity for a driver like the 39 to strike through for the first time. A few drivers here getting up there that we haven't seen previously. Xander McKinney, and how about someone like Devin Baker? Baker now going to be up in the 12th, and he might have a chance to go for a few more spots as they're 3 wide once again. Up to the high side goes Jim Thurston. He's going to do a blocking on a few drivers. And now it's going to be side by side at the head of the field. Aiden Walker, he's going to be your leader, and he got it there once more ahead of Nathan Palawada. Laps remaining. It's going to be a dozen to go. Wilkerson has now gotten it up in front, and it's been that back and forth high side, low side game being played. Wilkerson in potentially route to what could be 2 consecutive Talladega wins in a row. Of course, he got it done last season, and maybe a chance to do so once again. A dozen to do it at the stripe. Wilkerson is going to be your leader again. Aaron Schugel is now the leading JFR guy with Corey Lyles. You see Schugel slowly but surely making his way through. He's right there in 9th with Josh Kenyon. We might see the 2 JFR guys get together here, and if that happens, teamwork can play a huge role in the rest of this race. 11 laps remaining. Aiden Walker going to find himself cutting deep to the inside. He's got Jacob Wilkerson right there with River Page. Goes high. It's going to be 3 wide right now per second, but the leaders, tentatively speaking, are in a good place with 11 remaining, coming down to what will be only 10. Live on FTN, you're watching coverage here, the B-Man Design 200, as we come down to the home stretch. 10 laps remain, and as such, it's going to be Jacob Wilkerson, the leader at the stripe once more. He'll cut under. Now it's going to be Lyles looking through the middle. He's got himself a shot, and Aaron Schugel is only 2 car lengths back on him. So the teammates slowly but surely getting to the point where they could come together again. Watch out. It might be teamwork setting the tone for the rest of this race here. Running down the back straightaway at the speed of 190 miles an hour. Every driver full on now. And it's no time for saving fuel. No time for saving tire. This is it. And you ought to go 100% if you got it. If you can't, well, you got to stay right there as close as you can. Jacob Wilkerson going to wiggle once, and he's going to get tapped by Corey Lyles. Lyles makes it close. Corey takes the race lead on the high side. Going to be 3 wide this time through. And all of a sudden, Jacob Wilkerson going to bookend that middle line and shove them further down the order. Corey Lyles is going to be in the middle. Up on the bottom side, you're going to see there Aiden Walker. Jacob Wilkerson is now going to be stuck up with Carlos Truther. And you can see here 9 laps remaining. Maybe drivers are settling themselves in for the final 2 or 3. And even though they are close, well, the problem more so becomes, what are they going to do when it is fully time? Right now, it looks like these drivers are coming across the line every time, just getting themselves set up to be in the position before they go for the full-on move, before they get aggressive. Oh, Aiden Walker's going to end up in the grass here. Number 93 fades back big. He will save it. Carlos Truther does as well. And it looks like multiple drivers are going to fade back, and it looks like a caution is due to fly. Nathan Palawada involved. Here goes Devin Baker. Yellow flags out. It's destruction. Jock Carter, Nathan Palawada, the 0-2 of Barnett, Will Shack, and a whole load of others bring out the yellow flag after all. We will have 4 laps to go after this. It comes down to the home stretch here in Talladega. Watch up in front, and you'll see exactly how this leading fight develops into a wreck. Truther going to be with Aiden Walker, and Walker ends up fading back. Then Truther, of course, falls further, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a checkup here. Aaron Schugel into the 27 of Kenyon, then Palawada, then Devins Baker with Michael Deitch, Jim Thurston destroyed. and a whole load of others. My, oh my, that's a 10-car incident at the minimum. Bryce Kohler gets lucky there. He's going to end up in the grass, but overall, he is going to be fine as well. Caution is out. River Page now up inside the top 3 for what appears to be his best chance so far going for the win. And it's time to go at it. 7 laps to go. Pacing again, getting reorganized for what could be the final restart of the day. Fourth caution of the night. And this could be it. 54 laps in out of 60. It is Corey Lyles now advantageous. And we'll see how much longer he can hold on here. Drivers like Daniel Mosteller getting their lap back. And how's about we ride on board with Demos, the lapper, going at full speed. So Mosteller right now going to be getting his laps back as you watch on board. Michael Deitch saying he's got a faster pair, so his night is not over. Deitch looking not to quit as he comes down to pit road among the majority of the field. Corey Lyles opting to stay out. Looks like a few of our front runners do. As it stands, it looks like a total of 10 drivers stay out on the track. The rest of your field heads to pit road. Six laps to go. Corey Lyles, River Page, and Jacob Wilkerson. That's the top 3 you're looking at right here. And Wilkerson, of course, en route for what could be a defense of his overall race lead. In terms of, he's controlled this race most off and won last season. Now, River Page up there fighting for the championship. He was the title leader heading in, and he's been up there fighting furiously for the overall championship since the beginning. Could be Rivers' first ever IORA Cup Series title, and he looks to be in firm contention for with Daniel Mosteller. Mosteller said he is going to miss multiple races here in the playoff format, so maybe his season might come to a premature close for the second year in a row, which would be especially unfortunate, but that's going to help out the most for a driver like Page, who's been great, but less competition doesn't hurt for a driver like River here, knowing how good Daniel Mosteller has been from start to finish in this campaign. Time to set things straight one more time. The leaders are still going to be out on the circuit. A few drivers who went down to pit road that are notable here. Josh Kenyon, Will Shack, Devins Baker, and Jim Thurston, all of which have gone down pit road within the past 2 laps. And for Thurston, he's now going to find himself back on the way alongside Michael Deitch and Austin Barnett. Here comes Barnett once again, so Austin going to decide to go for one more top off here. Not going to lose all too many track positions, so for him, not too much of a worry to go in, and you can see maybe a little bit of that suspension damage as he come in to get additional service. Caution flying with one more lap to go. It's going to be a 4-lap shootout from here. Corey Lyles, the man in control. Got River Page up top, Jacob Wilkerson down low, and up to the high side. There goes the Agger Electrical 55 of Brandon Dugan. Less than a lap remaining. Lyles on the bottom, and the 24 right up high. Going to be a real good opportunity here for Corey Lyles to maybe get through and finish off the winless drought for the 56 team. Of course, River Page going for his own intents. The championship could be much easier to reach from here if tonight goes well. Additionally speaking, you got Jacob Wilkerson, Brandon Dugan, who could go for his first win. Xander McKinney is in 5th. And has been solid so far, maybe a chance to keep on improving. And then, of course, Tyler Tinsley, Aiden Walker, Bryce Kohler and company further back. The drivers we haven't mentioned all too much, who have been silent, but they have been deadly in regards to making it this far. Now it's time to figure out who's going to have the edge coming down to the checkered flag in 4 laps time. That remains to be seen. It's going to be Corey Lyles, though, the driver who will lead on this restart, and I'm sure he's hoping to take it from here to the end of it. Let's go at it one more time. It is going to be Lyles, Page, Wilkerson, Dugan. 1, 2, 3, 4, as we are set to go at it for 4 laps to go. Pace car is going to drop down and in, and that will be all she wrote for the iRacing official pace car stay today. Next caution will send us into overtime procedures, so the race could be extended, but looking unlikely as we are set to get back at it. Another green flag restart, our 4th of the day. Here we go. Lyles on the bottom side, River Page right up top. And as we come through the trial here in Talladega, it's time to approach the green flag again. Green's gonna drop for our 4th restart of the day, and it's time to get things going. It's Lyles who takes the lead in the bottom. Corey Lyles going to be in the bottom side right now, taking the race lead. He's got it down and under, and he's got himself now the lead alone. Right behind him, Jacob Wilkerson. In addition, there's River Page, who finds himself on the top side. It's going to be Brandon Dugan, looking high himself. 4 laps to go, coming down to 3. This time by, going to be 3 laps remaining for Corey Lyles as the sun begins to set in Talladega. Here we go. The final laps are approaching. Lyles going to dive down under. He's got right now a driver he can trust in Jacob Wilkerson right behind him. Wilkerson, he decides to go up top. So much for trust. The 43 going for his own intentions. He's looking for the win as much as anyone else. It's now going to be the number 43 and Jacob Wilkerson taking the race lead with River Page up top with Corey Lyles. Now has Xander McKinney. However, it's not the same, and the JFR crew are going to have to come back big in these final 5 miles. It's time to go back at the stripe again. Wilkerson under, River Page in the middle. Here we go. Popsicle sticks this time by in Talladega. 2 laps to go. Wilkerson going to shuffle down to the bottom side again, and it's time to head home here in Alabama. Drivers have gotten themselves this far. Now time to see who's due to take the checkered flag. Wilkerson going to see River Page drop right under him, and Tyler Tinsley goes up top with Daniel Mosteller. 3 wide, way back in the field. All the while, Wilkerson drives up high. He goes with River Page, but Page decides to lay off just a bit. He doesn't want to destroy his car just yet. He's still got a lap and a half to go until all is said and done. You can't destroy your equipment before the checkered flag and expect a good result. Next flag is due to end it. If we get to the white flag, that's how it'll go, and the white flag will signify that this race is official. Wilkerson looking for 2 consecutive wins in Talladega. River Page looking to come out here with a huge points lead. White flags out in Talladega. Page under and Wilkerson the middle. We've got 3/4 of a lap to go as the drivers enter 1 and 2, heading down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. River Page right down and under. Corey Lyles going to be with, and so far no incidents. Every driver going to come down the back straightaway in one piece, and it looks like River Page has kept himself there as well. River right now going to have himself the lead. Corey Lyles right behind, just about a car length before he drifts up top, and so does River. River's got clean air, but how long will he have it for? That remains the question. Up in front he'll go. River Page coming across the stripe this time by, sees a destruction of the field. Right behind him, River Page easily wins in Talladega. No competition, and it's going to be, after final calculations, Brandon Dugan second and Tyler Tinsley third. The field implodes behind River Page. River gets it done, winning here in the B-Man Designs 200. checkered flag flies for River Page, and he will win in Talladega from your second place finisher and Brendan Dugan. Then and there, you're going to see Tyler Tinsley in third, Devins Baker going to be in fourth, and fifth place to Josh Kenyon with Austin Barnett, then sixth. How about Bryce Kohler then in seventh, and eighth place is going to be then given to Jacques Carter, ninth, Aiden Walker, and 10th, Daniel Mosteller. No, it's going to be Braxton Whitaker, and Demos fades further back as a result of that one, and you'll see where he ends up from here. 11th place is going to be then and there. It looks like Bryce Kohler double reporting here, and he's going to be officially 11th after everything gets finished off. Corey Lyles 12th, Daniel Mosteller 13th, and Will Shack is going to be in 14th spot. Henry Caloff 15th, Carlos Truther in then 16th. Josh Kenyon is 17th with Michael Deitch 18th position. Then it's going to be Jim Thurston 19th and Aaron Schugel rounding out the top 20. And to finish the field off, it's going to be Nathan Palawada 21st, Vincent Guecci going to be 23rd to Jason Chilton's 22nd, and Gavin Austin comes home position 24 with Zach Trevino 25th, Frank DeAngelis 26th, and your final driver on the order, Alexander Balderas, who did not start this event. Just like that, tonight's event in Talladega has come to a close. Page, oh so close to getting part of that wreck himself, but he's the only driver who avoided it fully and ends up the winner as such tonight in Talladega. Page, your winner. How about we get a word from your overall champion of Talladega this season, River Page, who gets it done after 60 hard-fought laps of racing. Getting a word right now from River Page, the number 24. Checkered flag out for you tonight, River, and it looks like for the championship race, this is about as good as it could get. Now going to come out with the lead. 7 laps led tonight from second on the grid. You made it up that one position you needed, and you were the only driver who made it through cleanly to the end of this race. Checkered flag is yours for the first time here in the playoff picture. How does it feel to get it done?
I did not think I had a shot there. I thought I had a shot, but I was confident in Dugan, but we had not a lot of help that whole little run there when I was on the top. It was just me and Dugan, and Braxton was back there, and I was kind of annoyed. I thought he just wasn't trying, but he just, like, with this car, you have to have someone on your back bumper, or else you can't keep up. So when Dugan was pushing me, it was like Braxton was like didn't have anyone pushing him, so he couldn't keep up, and then when Walker got to third, Braxton wasn't that close to him, so I was lucky that I got clear. And then when I was on the bottom, I really thought Wilkerson was going to clear me into one, but he didn't, and Dugan had to back off and went into it. But man, that was just a blocking masterclass, and we got it done. So it feels good. I'm glad that I don't mean any harm, but I'm just Thurston finished pretty bad, and just a good day for me. I don't know where like Demos finished, but I think I'm gonna have the points lead by a pretty wide margin now. And good for Dugan too. I'm glad that I was gonna try and get Dugan to at least finish second to me. If not, I could push him to the win. But he finished second, and yeah, it's a good day.
And a huge day, of course, for you and Brendan Dugan, both running strong all throughout the night. And for what little teamwork, of course, we saw throughout the field, you and Brendan looked to be running pretty strong at the tail end. How was it like working with drivers you were comfortable with compared to working with just about everyone else?
So you saw some bad pushes throughout the middle portion of the race, but at the end it got a little more aggressive, but people were able to keep it straight until the last lap. But just having someone that you can trust in this car is pretty important, because it's really hard to get runs by yourself. It's really hard to get runs in general, but if you have someone working with that you know and you trust them to stay on you, especially I had Dugan behind me, and he hasn't really been up in the front of the Super Speedway races. I think it's one of the first he's ever. This is the best he's ever finished, and I think it's still I don't think he's ever finished one without wrecking. So. He was up there, and I didn't know how he was gonna fare, but he did a good job pushing. And it was nice. I was able to keep the lead. He got me the lead, so I ranked Dugan again, and then I just blocked my ass up at the end.
And everything works out, making the block and being the only driver to get out of this one unscathed. River, this is huge for the championship. Up next on the schedule, coming from Talladega, we've got up next, of course, it's going to be Watkins Glen. So what's it going to take to go down to the road course and succeed there? Now with a huge uphand in the championship.
I don't know. I've been getting better at road course racing with this car. Last time I did a road course race with like any Xfinity car, I was able to beat some of the drivers in here, which was just a huge confidence boost. I was racing like Demos, and I was able to hold him off. So I think I'll definitely be in contention for the win. You know, I hope I am. Hope I have the pace, but it's gonna be all about tire saving and just making sure you have your car together at the end. It's definitely nice to have a buffer going in there with the win here, and just being the only playoff driver, other than Dugan inside of the top 9.
And a huge day for the 24 crew. The championship lead stretched out big. River Page, you have any final shout-outs to make after tonight's performance?
Just shout out to Haggard Electrical, Flopper Racing, Pacism, of course you and FTN, and all the other people that I put on my car. Monster Designs, Chase, and Throttle, and shout out to Dugan for pushing, and him and Paliwoda were doing a really great job. It sucks for Paliwoda that he got in that last wreck there. I don't know if that was my fault or not, but just wish we could make it to the end clean. But me and doing this, a 1-2 for Pacism is a good day.
And a big 1-2 tonight. River Page, you come home on the winning end. The checkered flag is yours. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
River Page on the way. We are going to bring in our second place driver, and of course that's going to be the number 55, Brendan Dugan. So let's get a word right now. Best finish of the season, matching a career best finish. Brendan Dugan, second today. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I had a great run coming around on the end there with Tyler pushing me, and I just got caught up in the wreck, and I got lucky with a push, and I just got shunted forward past the field. P2 feels pretty good. I tied my career record for highest finish in IORA, so feeling pretty good.
And a huge performance for you and River Page tonight, a 1-2 for you both, and we saw how well you both were working together, and it looked like you guys were bound to fight for the win, but eventually everyone got destroyed, and it seemed like nobody else was left. Only 2 drivers to get out of it, you and Page. So what was it like, that cooperation all night long from your perspective?
It was nice. It's nice to have a little team of drivers here with Pacism, Power Smash, Infinity Speed Motorsports. It's nice to have people like Paliwoda, River Page, Jim Thurston to work together with. It helps a lot at these big super speedway tracks. And I don't know, me and River got a really good start there, and we were able to keep up with that inside line. I was able to push him, get him in front. It was just a good night for Pacism as a whole.
And a great night for the entire crew. We saw the work that you drivers, including Nathan Paliwoda and a few others, had all throughout. Now, Dugan, tying your best career finish. Up next, you're going to see, of course, an opportunity to go at it with Watkins Glen. Road course, always tricky, but it looks like a good start to this opening round of the championship chase, and getting the second place finish with all your other competitors far behind you, that's a huge deal as well. Maybe a chance to keep extending that advantage.
Maybe we're gonna have to really put in some work, put in some track time at Watkins Glen, because I struggle on those road courses. But I think I could pull out probably a top 10, maybe even top 5 finish there, if we can keep it together and not burn up the tires.
Hoping, of course, to see that happen again. Brandon Dugan, your best finish here in Season 5, tying the all-time career high. And if you have final shout-outs to make, well, the floor is yours.
I'd just like to thank all the Pacism drivers, Nathan Paliwoda, River Page, Vincent Guicci, Jim Thurston. I think we all put on a good show tonight. I'd like to thank Tyler for the push at the end that allowed me to get up to P2. I had a really good run going there, man. I was, I think, 6 miles an hour faster than River. I think I could have come away with a win there, but I'm still just happy with P2. Thank you.
Brandon Dugan, second on the day. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Dugan on the way, one more driver inside the top 3, and Tyler Tinsley, a driver who's had history running well at this track in this league, and tonight, oh so close to getting that elusive victory here in the IORA Cup Series. Third place on the day. Tyler, how does it feel?
Well, hello. That was quite the race. I was in VC with Demos. We're both in the tin can cars, and I just kept on saying throughout the race, I felt like Brian Scott in like 2016 Talladega. Like I just didn't feel feel right to be up there with all the playoff guys. But I think we put on a pretty good show, and I tried my best. And the way we got there, I don't know if the broadcast called it that, but it was something interesting.
Well, making it out of that huge incident, about the biggest we've seen in this series at Talladega, it was exciting. You're one of the drivers who was not afraid to move around every single groove today, and we saw a lot of that multi-groove racing from start to finish. What was it like working with the field, knowing everyone was just about everywhere, making all these moves up and down, back and forth, relentlessly, and we had largely clean racing.
Yeah, it was surprisingly clean. Like for like this group of guys might get like crapped on for like sometimes in like different series or broadcasting, if you know what I mean. But they ran a pretty good race, and it just seemed like the top is just where you need to be. And then me and Demos had a great run like earlier on. Then Gucci just walked in, just killed all the momentum. But that's when me and him just kind of realized we have a chance to make this third lane work. And we tried to do it at the end. We just didn't have help in that third line until like Dugan came up. And once he came up, we had a massive run. So if that move was made earlier, I think it would have been like me and Dugan on top, like 1-2 maybe.
Maybe a chance at victory just slipping away tonight. All things considered, Tyler had a really good run for the 75 team, and we've seen a little bit more of you coming through in this championship chase. Saw you at Darlington with some early troubles tonight. Definitely making up for it. What's it going to take? Maybe up next with Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the road course racer. But I just try to race when I can. I'm definitely part-time. I have like a job on Thursday sometimes. Like I'm not consistently Thursdays, if you know what I mean. But when I'm off, I try to race here. But I feel like knowing my skill set, I'll probably need like to wait till like Daytona next season or like another Dega race. But I'm just happy to lead some laps here today.
And leading some laps, have an overall very solid result. Third place, Tyler Tinsley. If you have any final shout-outs, so we'd love to hear it.
I guess myself, my design team, we've sponsored my car and Demos today, so kind of like do those paint schemes. Well, actually, I threw Demos's together today, but mine I've had like. But if you need a design, just find me on Discord. I'm in the IORA server. And thanks for having me tonight.
And just like that, Tyler Tinsley getting it done here. Third place finish. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Tinsley going to get on the move, and just like that, Tyler comes through to round out the podium for tonight's race. Checkered flag is fallen here at the virtual Talladega SuperSpeedway. We thank you all for watching tonight's coverage live on FTN, and we're going to be back with the IORA Cup Series for the remainder of its run. A few Thursdays to go, and the championship is getting more and more exciting, so make sure to stay tuned. Tonight, you've been watching coverage from the virtual Talladega SuperSpeedway live on FTN, the IORA Cup Series exclusively brought to you here at FTN, the lone home for this entire championship race tonight at the virtual Talladega SuperSpeedway for the B-Man Designs 200. I've been David Kreutz, your commentator and producer. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel, and we hope to have you back for our next broadcast on the network on Saturday afternoon for the VOR IR18 series, so check that stuff out. We got a lot more to go with that series. In addition, we've got Monday night, the Integrity Ignite Series and the Octane Series on Tuesdays. And we hope to see you there yet again. Thank you all for watching live on FTN. We hope you have a fantastic night.